Tonight, Canada's boys of summer flying high on the wings of an epic win.
Fair, Guerrero to Lauer, and they've done it.
The Toronto Blue Jays clinched their division, something not seen in years. Why this is just the start of the postseason party. Plus, strike sorrows impacting Canadian small businesses.
We're really going to take a hit because it affects me as a small business.
How some are trying to weather the storm of the ongoing postal strike. And a polka-dotted pest returns in a big way.
They're crawling up your leg. They're on my cell phone. They're everywhere.
Why Canadian cities are seeing a boom in the ladybug population.
CTV National News with Heather Butts. Reporting tonight, Marcia McMillan.
Good evening. The calendar may say fall, but Canada's boys of summer are still heating things up. The Toronto Blue Jays soaring into the playoffs tonight with a big win. Canada's baseball stars definitely have plenty of reasons to celebrate tonight. With their 13-4 win over the Tampa Bay Rays, the Jays claim the American League East title. And as you can imagine, that has fans amped up.
We haven't done this in 10 years. That banner up there, there's going to be another one in 11 wins. Let's go, Blue Jays!
I'm just so happy for Toronto and for the whole country, and they've worked really hard, and hopefully we can keep doing it.
It's amazing. They turned it on when they needed to. It's all we ever want as a fan. Let's go, World Series. Here we go, baby.
Let's go!
Anticipation was high for Canada's one and only Major League Baseball team. CTV's Sean Leathong was there to catch the action and excitement.
Well, the Toronto Blue Jays had to win on the final day of the regular season to clinch the American League East, and they did just that, winning 13-4 over the Tampa Bay Rays. The party is all around us on the field here at the Rogers Centre because the Blue Jays clinched at home for the first time since 1992. Now, it came right down to the wire with the New York Yankees winning their final 8 games of the regular season to put pressure on the Blue Jays, but now the Blue Jays will bypass the wild card series and go on to the American League Divisional Series. We spoke to Jays manager John Schneider about what this means, and also Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Here's what they had to say.
It's the first division title in a long time here, so I'm happy for every fan in the city. I'm happy for every player in the clubhouse, and we got a lot of work left to do.
I love this team and I love the city, so I feel so happy to win with this city.
And while the players couldn't be more excited, it really means the most to these fans who have waited a long time. If you come over here, you can see they've been waiting 10 years for something like this to happen in Toronto. And the party has been continuing for quite some time and will continue long into the night here at the Rogers Centre and throughout the city. But they do look forward to the playoffs, which are coming in just under a week's time. In Toronto, Sean Leathong, CTV News.
A memorial for a Canadian man killed on a golf vacation in Wisconsin is growing tonight as new details emerge about the tragic case. Flowers and candles lay in the spot in Sheboygan Falls where 32-year-old Giovanni Mike Robinson was shot and killed last Wednesday. Court documents show Robinson and his friends were trying to secure a ride from a DoorDash driver after leaving a bar. When they couldn't agree on a price, the driver drove away. But prosecutors allege that driver turned back and a single fatal shot was fired at Robinson. The 35-year-old driver has been charged with first-degree reckless homicide. To developing news out of Michigan, where at least 4 people have been killed and 8 others injured in a mass shooting at a church.
We heard a big bang and it blew the doors in the church, and then everything after that was chaos.
Chaos barely describes the scene that played out Sunday morning at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, an hour outside of Detroit. Authorities say the suspect drove a vehicle into the church before opening fire. Police response was swift, officers arriving within a minute of getting the call and engaging the suspect.
The suspect, again, we're in the preliminary stages right now, was neutralized at 10:33:44 in the parking lot of that church.
Police believe the suspect, identified as 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford, also set a fire at the church. Smoke and flames could be seen for kilometers. Investigators are still trying to lock down a motive. Prime Minister Mark Carney is back in Ottawa following a trip to the UK aimed at shoring up relationships and business with world leaders. CTV's Jeremy Sharon joins us with a look at the travel abroad and the criticism here at home.
Prime Minister Mark Carney's London trip wraps up now several weeks that have been focused on building international partnerships. While here in the UK, the Prime Minister met with Prime Ministers of 4 other countries, including Keir Starmer here in the UK. He also had meetings with business leaders and investors, all things he called necessary to the Prime Minister's plan to continue to strengthen relationships in the face of a trade war with U.S. President Donald Trump. He's also says he's looking to attract business interest and gain access to new markets for Canadian businesses. While doing so, though, he has faced some criticism. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has said Prime Minister Carney is jetting around but getting nothing done. Again, the Prime Minister defends his recent trips, including this one to London, a recent trip to Mexico, his time at the UN General Assembly in New York. All things he says are necessary to the end goal of diversifying Canada's partnerships with new countries in the face of that trade war. But now the Prime Minister returns home. He'll be in Ottawa for the next few weeks, where his focus will shift to domestic issues. He is likely to face that criticism now face-to-face in the House of Commons, but will also spend the next few weeks heavily focused on his first budget, which is expected in just over a month. Jeremy Sharon, CTV News, London.
An Edmonton MP is throwing her hat in the ring to become leader of the federal NDP.
Today I stand in front of you and I say I'm honored to say my name is Heather McPherson and I am running to be the next leader of Canada's New Democratic Party.
The race to become the next NDP leader ends on March 29th, 2026 at the party's convention in Winnipeg. Former leader Jagmeet Singh resigned in April after the New Democrats had their worst ever election showing. The latest round of Trump's tariffs go into effect this week, this time targeting pharmaceuticals, kitchen cabinets, and heavy trucks. It's yet another blow to the hard-hit auto industry, so closely intertwined with the American economy. And on both sides of the border, pushback on the suggestion they pose a national security threat. Here's CTV's Colton Prale.
For months, Donald Trump's tariffs have targeted what's inside trucks like these. But soon, it'll be the trucks themselves facing tariffs. The U.S. president says beginning Wednesday, medium and heavy-duty trucks will face 25% tariffs. But the White House has yet to specify what's impacted.
I don't know how it's going to affect our existing customers because we still have a couple trucks that deliver. And I'm not sure how those tariffs are going to affect it.
The federal government says Canada exports over $3 billion of medium and heavy-duty trucks to the United States. And what exactly is tariffed could change where the impacts are felt.
Trucks could be fire trucks, could be buses. And so we'll get a sense of whether this affects Ontario or Manitoba and Ontario, or Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec.
Edison Motors is a new truck manufacturer in British Columbia, which focuses on electric trucks. They say American interest has been high, even selling to the U.S. government. But the proposed new tariffs mean now they're looking elsewhere for buyers.
I would rather focus on the Canadian-Australia market. Until the U.S. has a little bit more stable government, I'm going to be a Canadian manufacturer.
Trump's new tariffs, like those on autos, steel, and aluminum, use national security legislation as their justification. Trade lawyers say that makes them harder to fight against.
Really what this all means is this is something we're probably going to have to negotiate with the Trump administration.
The federal government recently announced $6 billion in support funds for businesses impacted by tariffs. Asked if it will be extended to companies hit by Trump's new tariffs, officials were unavailable to comment. Marcia.
Thanks, Colton. CTV's Colton Prale in Ottawa for us. Tariffs are taking a toll on small businesses across Canada. Coming up, a look at how these popular silky hair ties are hitting some snags thanks to duties. The strike by Canada Post employees is also a major disruption for small businesses that rely on the post office to get their products out. CTV's Garrett Berry takes a look at how some are dealing with the latest standoff between Canada Post and its workers.
Even if her store in St. John's is closed, Sunday is still a working day for Dia Drevet.
I mean, we're always here looking at our stock and seeing what we should be promoting for the upcoming week.
Today, those questions are a bit tougher because a big, lucrative arrival is stuck in the mail.
And it's about $20,000 in sales that we would be benefiting from over the next couple of months. And it will get here eventually. It's just that nobody knows, and it's just a big, uncertain situation.
Strike action brought by CUPW, the union representing Canada Post workers, has brought thousands of shipments across the country to an immediate halt, and a new round of headaches to small businesses who rely on Canada Post's services.
To use those other courier companies, I would have to drive in excess of 2 hours to drop those parcels off.
In the rural Newfoundland town of Triton, where Lisa Chatsakiru has set up her fabric business, Canada Post is the only game in town. During last year's labor dispute, she lost about $7,000 worth of sales. She says it's not clear if she could weather a storm like that again.
We're really going to take a hit because it affects me as a small business, hiring local community members, students in rural Newfoundland.
Tonight, it's back to the drawing board to come up with some creative solutions to this newest challenge.
We're going to try and promote some of the products in unique ways and perhaps have some sales that will hopefully drum up the business.
But with no updates from Canada Post or its workers today, the prospect of a long-term work stoppage remains a frightening one, leaving the future of businesses like this shrouded in uncertainty. Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
And now to the news that was as jolting as a hot cup of coffee. Starbucks announcing the closure of hundreds of stores across the country, leaving customers and staff steamed by the short notice. CTV's Kamakar Mali is gauging the reason and the reaction.
Trouble brewing at this Toronto Starbucks.
I'm surprised and disappointed.
Saturday was the final day for this store.
This is a neighborhood spot, so it's kind of sad that they're closing.
On Saturday, plenty of customers here at this location on its final day, but the very next day, Sunday, the drapes pulled down, the place deserted, and the doors locked.
No! Devastating coffee drinkers. Starbucks said it's closing 1% of its North American stores. That equates to roughly 400 locations, laying off around 900 non-retail employees, shutting down stores where they were unable to create the physical environment our customers and partners expect, or where we don't see a path to financial performance. Although the company did not say how many locations are closing in Canada, dozens of stores were seen shutting down across Ontario, Alberta, and BC, with employees telling CTV News they received less than a week's notice, in some case only 2 days' notice, that they would be without a job. But they did not want to speak on camera, fearing a lawsuit because they say they signed an agreement not to talk to media.
Some of them found out because on the store hours online it said closed.
Starbucks says it provides a severance package with 3 weeks' pay and extended health care. The change is all part of Starbucks' billion-dollar restructuring plan after sales dropped for 6 straight quarters.
In this economy, people are questioning if they want to spend $3 or $4 for a deluxe premium coffee.
Now, retail analysts say the CEO is trying to return to what used to make it so unique.
And he's going to refocus on the in-store experience for the consumer.
Starbucks says it still operates more than 18,000 locations across North America while working to improve the design of about 1,000 of those. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
An emotional day in Ottawa as thousands gathered on Parliament Hill for the 48th annual Canadian Police and Peace Officers Memorial to honor those killed in the line of duty.
You know, a child who's lost their mom 25 years ago, and these events really keep her memory alive. It's important for me as her daughter to continue her legacy.
Dozens of officers marched from the Supreme Court building, then lined the front lawn of the Hill. The ceremony included the song for the unsung hero and the Ottawa Police Pipe and Drums. The service also paid tribute to 912 officers, with the addition of 3 historical names this year. Coming up, tangled up in tariffs.
I'm either losing customers or paying the tariff for them, which would mean me losing my profits.
How the ongoing trade war is hammering one company and leaving its future in limbo. U.S. President Donald Trump is expressing optimism that a deal to end the war in Gaza is near, ahead of a meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House tomorrow. In a social media post, Trump stated there's a real chance for greatness in the Middle East and all are on board for something special. He didn't provide specifics, but during an appearance on Fox News Sunday, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance said top U.S. officials are busy with very complicated negotiations with Israeli and Arab leaders. This comes as the Trump administration unveiled a 21-point Middle East peace plan last week to end the war. And in a social media video, controversial New York City Mayor Eric Adams says he's dropping out of the city's mayoral race. He was seeking re-election, but Adams' poll rating sank after being indicted on federal corruption charges last fall. All charges were later dismissed by the Trump administration. Small businesses in Canada who rely on American customers are feeling the pain with the ongoing U.S. trade war. CTV's Adrian Gabriel highlights one Ontario company that produces scrunchies, those trendy hair elastics, now feeling the squeeze of tariffs and duties.
With each stitch, entrepreneur Tina Nguyen weaves a wish for her family, staff, and their collective future.
My aunt or uncle, myself, my brother John, or our seamstress Courtney, we sew them here.
Nguyen first started her company in a small apartment, then her parents' home. When order slips began lining the hallway floor, it was time to expand, eventually to this 4,000 square foot unit. Though a confusing cocktail of tariffs and new duties are stepping on her profits.
This costs $18.99.
Yeah.
What's the extra charge on this?
So the customer would be paying a 30% tariff fee, and on top of that, a 50 up to 70% brokerage fee.
This is one of Nguyen's recent shipment bills for a U.S. order. It used to cost just $13. The total shipment bill is now $241. Stuck in limbo, she's waiting for a certificate confirming that her made-in-Canada scrunchies are CUSMA compliant and tariff exempt.
Even though our fabric is bought from our manufacturer in Toronto, I asked them where the fabric was made, and they told me it was made in China.
Businesses on both sides of the border are reporting chaos when it comes to the new tariff compliance requirements. Roughly 38% of small businesses in Canada have said they will be forced to close up shop in less than a year if a new trade agreement isn't reached.
I'm either losing customers or paying the tariff for them, which would mean me losing my profits and not making money at all. I wouldn't even break even.
Her business pinned down by this trade war, the 32-year-old is now wondering if she'll be forced to pack it all in.
Tina Nguyen has put a stop on ordering all new materials for next year. The tariff and trade uncertainty, simply too big a risk for her small business. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Belleville, Ontario.
Still ahead, a ladybug invasion in Alberta. Why so many of these beloved insects are taking over Calgary. Ladybugs are everywhere in Calgary, from parks to backyards. These polka-dotted visitors are taking over the city. CTV's Kathy Lee has more on what's causing this ladybug boom.
Fall wraps the world in a golden embrace, and beneath this vibrant layer of fallen foliage, ladybugs blending in. And not just one or a few, an abundance of them.
Hundreds and hundreds. They're all over in the leaf litter.
Doug Wong and his wife Lana delighted to find them.
We see them every year, but not in that quantity. I mean, they're crawling up your leg. They're on my cell phone. They're everywhere.
And document the beauty of their ladybug-filled haven. Some barely visible as they scatter out of sight. This one slowly crawls over leaves and navigates uneven terrain.
An expert says one of the reasons people are noticing all of the ladybugs is because they are congregating in foliage to find a place to sleep for the winter, which happens every year. But what's different this year is there seems to be more of them due to a hot weather streak that's putting some stress on the plants.
When the plants are stressed, they have a lack of water. When they don't have so much water, they're going to reduce their photosynthesis activity. When they do that, stressed plants attracts insects.
One of those insects are aphids. The more aphids, the more ladybugs. But they're harmless.
It's better if you leave them alone because next year they come stronger and they might kill the pests on your backyard.
And at least in this backyard,
We like ladybugs. Yeah, they're wonderful. I think everybody likes them.
a return of the red and black flying insects is welcomed. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Still ahead, on the road to recovery, how this naval vet is building community to create a new path for himself and other veterans. Before we go tonight, we want to introduce you to a Canadian naval vet who's found a way to overcome adversity and be of service in a whole new way. CTV's Adam Sawatsky has his story.
Yvonne LaHoo doesn't need to watch a classic war movie on his phone.
My God, it was so well done.
To remember how the longest day inspired him as a kid to craft discarded cardboard into toy tanks.
And I would put a firecracker and make it realistic. I would blow the tank apart.
Yvonne never outgrew his interest in the military, and at 19, enlisted in the Navy.
So I've never seen the ocean before, and this would be a great thing to see the world.
While he proudly served at sea for the next 30 years, Yvonne started struggling after he retired.
I was suffering from trauma and PTSD. My brain started playing tricks on me.
Until he happened upon this picture of a Second World War ship that he couldn't get out of his head.
Wow. The ship was named after my own town, and I didn't know about this.
But Yvonne did feel, for the first time in a long time, inspired.
I says, I'm going to build it.
Had you ever built anything like this before?
No.
So he thought of how he once was as a kid, before contacting a naval museum, requesting a copy of the ship's blueprints, and started handcrafting countless components from wood and began building a boat from scratch.
The light bulb comes on, and I says, yes, and it works.
And after spending almost 500 hours in his garage, Yvonne felt transformed.
I was pretty amazed with myself on how it turned out.
So he made 8 more, supporting his recovery and inspiring a renewed sense of purpose through service.
To build as many lost or forgotten Canadian warships and bring them back to life.
And now Yvonne's donating his first model to his hometown and the others to museums to honor the sailors who worked on them and inspire the civilians served by them.
They all have a story to be told.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Surrey.
And that is our show for tonight. I'm Marcia McMillan. From all of us at CTV News, thank you for watching. Good night.